deadly crash over the weekend. We'll have the latest. And the Pope goes in for surgery to remove half his colon. Also, women are taking on poachers in Kenya and changing traditional gender roles along the way.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
One man is dead and another in custody following a crash in Duquesne over the weekend. This is KOAM News at Noon. I'm Tanya Bach. Topping our first 7 minutes, a police pursuit leads to a deadly crash early Saturday morning. Captain Trevor Duncan with the Joplin Police says his officers were called just before 8:30 to the 800 block of South Rex for a vehicle blocking a driveway, and that the driver of that vehicle may be passed out. Officers approached the driver and began a DUI investigation. The driver then fled the scene and headed east on 7th Street. A Duquesne police officer joined the pursuit. According to the report, the suspect approached the intersection of 7th and Duquesne and crashed into another car. That suspect was taken to the hospital with minor injuries and is in JPD custody. The driver of the other vehicle, 66-year-old Robert McDermott from Joplin, was taken to the hospital where he later died from his injuries. A Carthage hardware store is ensuring our nation's flag is treated with respect. Carthage Hardware hosted a flag exchange over the weekend. Anyone could bring in an old American flag or one they wanted to retire, and they would receive a new one. The local Carthage Scouts BSA unit and a local veterans organization will assist in retiring the older flags with honor. Well, not much of a breeze today to keep the flags moving, just a little bit. Nick Kelly is in for Michael with a first look at your forecast.
But it's that light breeze, Tanya, coupled with mostly sunny skies and at least acceptable humidity that allowed us to go from a mild start this morning to warm temperatures already as we just got into a minute on this Monday afternoon. The 7th and range line. A few cumulus clouds trying to build in spots, but in general, we're staying quiet once again with mostly sunny skies for much of the area. And the wider picture shows that high pressure that's been keeping us quiet for much of this weekend is off to the east across the Ohio River Valley, but still in control here. I am watching a frontal system to the north. That could try to bring in some rain chances later on in the forecast, but not for this afternoon. We're in the lower 80s right now across much of the region. Doesn't feel much warmer since dew points haven't ticked up quite enough yet, but I do expect highs to top out around 88 degrees this afternoon with a slight bump in the humidity making it feel like we could be feeling like 90 or 91 degrees before the day is all said and done, but we will enjoy a mild evening with lows dropping back to 68 degrees. We'll see how the rest of the week's shaping up and when we can see rain coming soon here in just a little bit, Tanya.
All right. Sounds like a lot to talk about. Thanks,
Absolutely.
Nick. Well, what was left of the Champlain Towers South Condo building in Surfside, Florida is now demolished, clearing the way for search and rescue efforts to resume. Last night, crews set off a string of explosives, bringing down the high-rise in a cloud of dust. One big reason was to make it safer for rescuers combing through the rubble, especially with a tropical storm barreling towards the area. At least 24 people are confirmed dead and 121 still missing. Well, at his largest gathering since taking office, President Biden said the country is closer than ever to declaring independence from the coronavirus. The White House hosted about 1,000 people last night on the South Lawn for the 4th of July. All of them were tested for COVID beforehand. The president had set a goal of having 70% of adult Americans at least partially vaccinated by July 4th, but efforts to ensure that fell a little short. As of this weekend, about 67% have had at least one shot. The White House has launched surge teams to parts of the country with higher rates of vaccine hesitancy as concern over new variants grows. Well, on the holiday weekend, freedom in Afghanistan is still under threat. With U.S. forces preparing to pull out, many residents are afraid the Taliban will rise to power again and ruin the way of life they've come to enjoy. The Taliban outlawed dozens of activities, including education for girls, playing music, wearing makeup, and shaving beards. Taliban now controls more territory than any time since the invasion, and a U.S. intelligence report warns Kabul could fall within 6 months after U.S. forces pull out. Pope Francis is doing well after undergoing scheduled intestinal surgery yesterday to remove half of his colon. The 84-year-old pontiff is expected to remain hospitalized for about a week. Vatican spokesman says the Pope is in good condition and alert. That's a look at today's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Up next on KOAM News at noon, we take you to a national park in Kenya, where a group of female rangers are turning traditional gender roles upside down. And later, we're making rancher-style cheese buns in the Mr. Food Test kitchen. A group of young women in East Africa are turning traditional gender roles upside down. As Deborah Pattis shows us, female rangers known as Team LIONESS are helping the local wildlife and their community.
It's early morning and everyone is already up. The men tend cattle. The women's job is to milk them. Everyone knows their place, but today the routine's been disrupted. Team LIONESS has arrived, but these rangers are not working. They've come bearing gifts. Their colleague Ruth Siketa has just had a baby and they have big plans for little newborn Beatrice.
One day she will be a ranger.
Team Lion Cub. 24-year-old Purity Lakara cuddles baby Beatrice. She knows if she had not become a ranger, motherhood was all her future would have held.
Women are only allowed to stay at home, looking after the kids and giving birth. We are not meant to stay just at home, no. We were educated to come and change the world. So that's what we are doing right now.
Together with her 7 teammates, she was selected for Kenya's first all-female anti-poaching squad set up by the International Fund for Animal Welfare. But IFOR's East Africa Director James Isicher explains it was a tough pitch to the local elders.
This community, the Maasai community, is a very patriarchal community where the men have all the say. In fact, we faced quite an uphill task convincing the men to allow us to recruit Team LIONESS.
These trailblazing women serve as the first line of defense against poaching.
They are training and coming back and matching the men or the male rangers boot for boot.
The work is physically grueling. They patrol the Maasai community land that surrounds the Amboseli National Park, often walking 12 miles a day.
Animal sighting, 12 grand gazelle.
But being female gives them an advantage. Maasai women might appear invisible to their men, but they hear everything that's going on in their community, including who is illegally killing animals for bushmeat. And they feel far more comfortable talking to Team LIONESS than their male counterparts.
It's just a secret between you and the person who feeds you with the information. Then we put an ambush, we caught him without him knowing that we are aware of what he's or she's doing.
Through these tip-offs, they've reduced poaching and the retaliatory killing of animals by 80% since the unit was launched in 2019. And as for the men who mock them,
the respect that they used to give to men, they are now giving us that respect.
Nobody is laughing now.
Team LIONESS has been so successful that there are plans to recruit more women from the Maasai community and to roll out similar anti-poaching squads elsewhere. Deborah Pattis, CBS News, Risa, Kenya.
Well, still to come on the KOAM News at noon, Mr. Food.
Today, we've got a way to turn yesterday's leftovers into gold. Come on, join us so you don't miss a thing.
But first, meteorologist Nick Kelly returns with your complete forecast.
Well, after we enjoyed a pretty good 4th of July, even though it was quite warm, it wasn't quite as humid. And given how past 4th of Julys have been, we will certainly take highs in the upper 80s yesterday, relatively low humidity. And so far, temperatures today haven't been so bad either. From Joplin Regional Airport alone, we dropped back to at least 64 degrees this morning, a little cooler than I expected. But ever since we saw that sunrise once again, temperatures as advertised have been right on track, right at 83 degrees at the noon hour. So at least we're starting off the afternoon on a pretty good note. In general, I want to start this look at the maps out with the jet stream level across the lower 48. This is not a particularly too strong of an upper level ridge, even though the crust of it is centered over the Four Corners to our west. It's just strong enough, though, to keep that jet stream just to the north and east. So that gives you an idea. It's going to be warm again this afternoon, maybe just a bit hot for some of you, even though we'll stay away from 90 degrees. But at the surface, high pressure. That's what kept us dry this past weekend, and that's what's going to keep us dry again for today. Then we'll focus on this front to the north. That wants to try and bring some rain chances our way as we get into the middle of the week. Before that happens, though, we might have a little bit of cloud cover passing through in the SKYWATCH storm tracker, but just to make doubly sure, we are not seeing a drop of rain anywhere. Where we are seeing at least some little cumulus clouds trying to build up. This is hardly a threatening sky by any means. So we're looking pretty good at 1214, looking across 7th and Range Line from the east side of Joplin. We are at 83 at Joplin Regional. Feels like 84, just a hair warmer thanks to dew points starting to climb to about 63. Other areas seeing dew points in the mid 60s. But in general, temperatures don't look bad. You can argue a couple upper 70s near Table Rock Lake, but most of us are up between 81 and 83 degrees at 12:15 on this Monday afternoon. But these dew points have not gotten too terribly high yet. Granted, yes, lower to middle 60s, so if we put that on the scale, well, it's not bad, and some spots might feel a little bit sticky, but given this is the middle of summer, we'll take any day where we keep dew points out of the 70s. That's, of course, when it starts to feel really sticky outside. But even with dew points where they are now, it is adding a degree or two in terms of what it feels like against your skin. It feels like 86 in Chanute, 83 in downtown Joplin, 82 in Anderson, and a lot of mid-80s primarily is what it feels like across southeast parts of Kansas. In general, as far as the wind goes, not much of a wind to speak of. We had a pretty calm breeze throughout the weekend, and that continues again today with the breeze generally out of the south and maybe a little bit southeast in a few spots at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. That's the breeze that'll hold steady throughout the course of the afternoon. It's that light breeze with mostly sunny skies that'll take us from 83 now to 88 degrees for this afternoon before we start to drop back into the mid 80s by 7 o'clock. Then once we get past sunset, I expect us to drop back near 70 by 3 a.m. and into the upper 60s for overnight lows for tonight. That's at least for downtown Joplin, but the same applies for the entire area. Everybody warms back into the upper 80s before the day is all said and done. Then after we get into the mid 70s by 10 o'clock, we'll drop back into the upper 60s for your Tuesday morning. And the future track here might want to try to show a few blips of green, but we're dry for tomorrow with maybe some partly sunny skies returning, but we will see highs pushing back near 90. You saw how the future track tried to throw a few blips of green on the map for Tuesday. I think it's jumping the gun a little bit on rain chances. Here's when I'm expecting rain chances to return. Remember that front to the north? We'll have to wait for an upper low to come out of Canada. That's when it's going to bring a chance for some scattered storms on Wednesday and maybe a random storm or two on Thursday. Then as we go toward Friday, that system temporarily lifts back to the north, but then a stronger wave pushes that front back in with better rain chances for Saturday and Sunday. And you can see what that does as an end result with temperatures on the 7-day forecast. 88 tomorrow, 90 on Tuesday, 88 for Wednesday, and then we'll have to turn back near 90 for Friday, Tanya. But once we see those better rain chances come in Saturday and Sunday, we'll be talking about highs in the lower 80s for Saturday and Sunday.
Nice.
I know. The numbers like these are hard to come by for July, so anytime in July we get highs in the 80s, we will take it.
But in the meantime, tomorrow it's going to get pretty hot, and it's already feeling kind of muggy out there today.
Yeah, but then again, it could be a lot worse given where we've been in July's past.
That's true. That's true. Just be safe, stay hydrated, you'll be fine.
Absolutely.
All right, thanks. Thanks, Nick. We take this time to honor today's four-state hero, Johnny Crow in the U.S. Army. Soldier from Joplin, Missouri, joined the 8th Battery, 1st Brigade, 101st Airborne Unit in 1966. He earned a number of honors while serving in Vietnam, among them the Sharpshooter Badge and the Vietnam Campaign Medal with 2 Bronze Stars. To Private First Class Johnny Crow, we thank you, our four-state hero. Got a few buns left over from your holiday grill out? Usually happens. Today, Howard shows us the perfect side dish to keep them from going to waste. We're making rancher-style cheese buns in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
I hope you had a great 4th. If you're like me, you'll probably have a bunch of leftovers to eat up over the next few days. You know, when I saw how many hamburger and hot dog buns I had left, I knew I needed to come up with a way to use them. So let me show you what we did. The first thing we do is combine some softened cream cheese with a bit of mayo, dry ranch dressing mix, and some shredded cheddar cheese. We give this a stir, and once it comes together, we spread it over some hot dog or hamburger buns that we split in half. You want to make sure you're generous with this so every bite is nice and cheesy. Right before you're ready to serve them, place them in the oven and bake them until the cheese mixture is all melty and the edges of the buns begin to brown. What a great way to turn leftover buns into something that everyone will be asking for seconds or even thirds of. These are so good, you'll probably be adding hamburger and hot dog buns to your grocery list all year long. To get the recipe for our rancher-style cheese buns, simply visit our website. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found an ooey gooey leftover way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
Not a bad idea. You can find this recipe along with a lot more good food from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen online. Just go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Here's a look at our 4-state market prices.
We'll keep things quiet for today. Mostly sunny skies, highs in the upper 80s. We'll push 90 on Tuesday. Then we'll see if our first glimpse of a front could bring us some rain chances and a little cool down by Wednesday and Thursday. Tanya?
All right, what do we have coming up tonight at 5?
Well, mosquitoes, they're more than a nuisance, and some people are more prone to getting bit than others. In Health Watch, we're going to look at the science behind mosquito bites. Plus, fireworks tents from across the 4 states pack up for 2021. We're going to talk with Watered Gardens about their fundraiser to sell fireworks and how this year compared to others. And the first of its kind in Humboldt, Kansas, a grocery store with a butcher shop. Join us, KOAM News at 5.
All right, thanks for joining us for KOAM News at noon. We'll see you right back here at 5 o'clock.